Welcome back to This Day in Scottish History. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald, and today we're diving into an important milestone in the preservation and celebration of Scotland's Gaelic heritage. On January 10th, 1949, BBC Scotland made its first official broadcast in Gaelic, marking a historic moment for the language, its speakers, and its cultural significance. This broadcast was more than a technical achievement, it was a profound cultural event at a time when Gaelic was under increasing pressure from dominant English language media and modern societal changes. This moment represented a formal recognition of Gaelic as a language worth preserving and promoting. It also reflected BBC Scotland's growing commitment to represent the diverse linguistic and cultural landscape of the country. The programme aired from studios in Glasgow, and though it was modest in scope, it was a clear message that Gaelic culture had a place in modern Scotland. Listeners across the Highlands, Islands, and beyond tuned in to hear their mother tongue spoken in an official and dignified setting, something that had been sorely lacking in mainstream media. In the mid 20th century, Gaelic was still widely spoken in some areas of Scotland, particularly in the Outer Hebrides and parts of the Highlands. However, the number of speakers had been steadily declining due to economic migration, urbanisation, and the long shadow of historical policies that suppressed the language. Efforts to support Gaelic were sporadic at best, and it often lacked institutional backing. The BBC's decision to introduce Gaelic programming was seen as a lifeline. It was a step toward reversing years of marginalisation and helping ensure that the language could survive in a rapidly changing world. The programme itself featured a blend of traditional Gaelic music, poetry, and storytelling, cultural touchstones that resonated deeply with the community. It was introduced by the first Gaelic announcer, Hugh McPhee, who became a beloved figure in the years that followed. McPhee's voice was a bridge between Gaelic speakers across Scotland, bringing them closer together in a shared cultural experience. This initial broadcast laid the groundwork for what would eventually become a rich tradition of Gaelic programming on BBC Scotland. Over the decades, the BBC expanded its Gaelic offerings, including news programmes, entertainment, and educational content. This culminated in the creation of BBC Alba in 2008, a dedicated Gaelic language television channel that continues to celebrate and promote the language. Today, the significance of that 1949 broadcast is clear. It marked the beginning of a broader movement to sustain Gaelic through media, education, and public policy. While challenges remain, Gaelic is still classified as an endangered language. Initiatives like BBC programming play an essential role in keeping the language alive. For Gaelic speakers, this milestone was more than a broadcast. It was an affirmation of identity and heritage. It demonstrated the power of media not only to entertain and inform, but also to preserve and uplift a language and culture that had been pushed to the margins. As we reflect on January 10th, 1949, we honour the dedication of those who fought to give Gaelic its rightful place in the public sphere and celebrate the language's continued vitality. Thank you for joining us on This Day in Scottish History. We'll be back tomorrow with another fascinating story from Scotland's past. Until then, I'm Colin MacDonald. Haste ye back.